This is a status check on the second prototype. I've been in full build mode lately, so let me catch you up. You saw the rotate and lift motion earlier, but I've done a lot of other work, and we'll show that in a second. The main change here is that this main panel is now the layout panel and the mounting point for all sorts of parts. Before I laid it out on one and then transferred it over, and then I thought, wait a minute, I have the vertical space available, so why not leave it on there? Now it serves as the underside panel, everything mounts to it, you can lay out all the holes at once manually or with CNC. It makes sense. I also simplified a lot of the ramps. Going to a one-piece skirt where it just makes the spiral motion is great because these can just be wedges. I actually cut these on the table saw. You can hit your 30 degrees quite easy, make a whole bunch of them. It's simple. The torque tube parts took a little bit of doing, but they were not that complicated. You basically drill a couple holes and then hacksaw across to create the channel that can get squeezed down. So I made all of those. There's actually 12 of them because we have 6 torque tubes and there's 2 on each end. There's a series of ramps underneath here which actuate the levers on the end. The mount blocks for the main panels are probably the most difficult piece because they have to align when they're small and when they're large, and they have to just have a lot of degrees of motion while being mounted from a very small place on the panel. We'll show that in more detail now. These 3 screws here can be easily adjusted up or down in very fine increments, and those mate into these countersinks here, and then when it's in the right spot, it's secured down by this screw, which is accessible from below through these holes. I have a little O-ring on there to keep this from falling down because it has some play. So that gives you your tilt in all 3 axes. And if you need to make a coarse translation adjustment, you can reposition these screws. Otherwise, I have some oversized holes underneath that are mounting this block to the cart, and that allows you to make some fine-tune adjustments in different directions. Because the table is round when it's small and when it's large, that skirt has to hang in over the table while also being underneath the main panels. Therefore, you cannot drop the skirt below this, and it has to go on before the main panels. There's a fair amount of weight in this skirt, so to counteract it, I've installed 2 extension springs. With that spring engaged, it becomes quite easy for this skirt to go up and down. The main and lifting panels are in place, and the skirt, so we can do a test here in a minute. First, I'll note that yes, the skirt is a little bit low. It's about 1/8 to 3/16. The reason for that is that in order for it to drop lower and thus accommodate being slightly taller, I need to mount the roller higher, but I can't do that because I have a gap from patching together 2 drafts. So anyway, basically that'll be fixed in a future version. This will be taller, it'll drop lower, thus leaving the same amount and allowing the lifting panels to come out. Also, I have it braced to the table here because lifting those panels up creates some torque that you have to react against, and it'll just spin on my milk crate right now, so I need something to hold it in place. Unlock the skirt, let it down, back up. Okay, I'm a little bit high on all of these, but that's fine. We can adjust that on the torque tube, so I'm not concerned. It went up. Let's see if it goes back down. I only have a temporary skirt lock, so it won't stay up unless I stick it back in, but I feel pretty good about that. You may have noticed some levers here, and there's another one on the other side. Those are what will lift the star. I'm feeling very pleased with where this is at. The eventual success of the project is not always obvious at every stage, and there was a few difficult periods, so it feels really good to have this thing work and just see it do its magic. I'm glad to share that. So the next step obviously is to get the star mount system finished up and troubleshoot that, and then take all of my voluminous notes of little improvements and tweaks and things that need a little extra space, get those into the CAD model, and then start writing some plans for it. It's back to work for me, and thank you for watching.